Hello, hello. We're back again. Alright, let's see what we can get done today. What's on the agenda? So our sign-up form. Let's do it step by step. We needed to validate this. We needed a path to the server. And all we care about is that the username is not taken. So let's actually get one under auth. Because we do have verify email. We need verify username as well. So let's copy this. Router.get verify, I think it was username. Let's just go check quickly. The service we're sending to is right, login, verify email, verify username. There we go. Verify username. So verify username. Username equal to... No, we don't need that. We just get username from request.body.username. And let's make sure we're actually getting what we want. And it's actually router.post. Verify email, verify username from request.body. I'm just gonna send the username back for now. There we go. res.json username. This should theoretically be fine. I think our server is still up and running. Yeah, it is. Let's send a network request. Do we get a response back? Yeah, we did. Dead. So it's responding back pretty much instantaneously. And it will tell us basically if the username that we want is taken or not. So that'll be like, ting, checked. I think we just need a user.find one, essentially. We can have that in the controller. Register user. Because under the token we have check token, we also have verify token and generate token. We actually need to do a user. Just like we did for token. So user.findOne, username, then response, we also need a catch. If there's any errors, log user error. What would the error be? We'll have to figure it out now. There we go. So we need to do find user. Cool. So that should in theory be it. Let's remove that. Cool. Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, let's see what the response is. No errors. Out. Found the user null. The response null. Okay, and if it's Jmar 777, which we know does exist. Yeah, there we go. Login attempt 0. Mention, hey. I am using Material UI actually. Yeah. I'm sure you would have seen it around. It's pretty much Google's go-to design. Okay, so we found a user here. Let me test something quick. So let's invalidate that. We have nothing. Cool. Then let's bring it back. Let's see what it finds. Okay, it finds the user. Cool. So we actually want to do the same thing we did for the token. I think we did that for the token. Check token. Verify. Was it verify or check? It was check. We only ever want to return that's an error. Or was it token? No, I think it was token actually. It was generate token. We only ever want to store a token if a token exists. So try return token.token right here. Otherwise, throw an error. And that obviously doesn't... It gets thrown. Yeah, it doesn't get caught, so it will never get stored in the try catch. Okay, cool. So in our verify... in our verify, we need a try catch, essentially. So we do a try, all of this, then catch any errors and handle them there. Yeah, so find user should throw an error if it finds a user. I think. It's a tough one. So if a user is not found, it will be null, which is fine. If a user is found, we'll have a response. So we could check if user, then just, you know, return an error that's already taken.
Mention 1 is following the family.
Mention, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Okay. Where'd my music go? Let's go back a bit. There we go. Just trying to think of the best solution to do this now. I think a user response would be sufficient. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Let's do a user response, because then we can also check specifically for null. I think we've done that somewhere else before. But let's do it this way. We're gonna change response to user, first of all, and then if user, meaning there is a user, then we want to return with a user response, which will specify the given username has already been taken. We had validation somewhere here. Validate user. There it is. So if the username is already taken, username taken. Okay, so it's just username taken. So we're just gonna do username taken. Keep it simple. Did I have a error code? 422. The given username. And what did I specify the username? So we're just going to respond with a 422. Otherwise, we just return. This is assuming now that it was a null or anything else other than not the user. And we can just return with a new user response. Wait, did I not close this? Oops, my bad. Close that, and there we are. So either we return with the username taken, otherwise username available, maybe? And that can be the given username is available, and then we can just respond with a 200. Let me just double check my HTTP codes, because there's so many. It's either 200 or 203. No, 200's fine. Hey Lynn, how are you doing? Yeah, 200's fine. So we're going to respond with the 200. The given username is available, and that's that. And then if there is an error, we're just going to respond with a generic error. So something like this. If error, instance of user response. I wonder if we should return. Shouldn't this be a throw? The given username has already been taken. I guess we could throw it. Throw new user response, that will get caught here. If error, instance of user response, return the error. Otherwise, we return, there was an error. There was an error checking the username, please try again later. Username validation failure. Do I have something for generic failure? No. Probably somewhere else. What are we working on today, Lynn? Maybe I should call it check username, because we have check token. Instead of find user. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it check user. Or rather check username. There we go. And then we just have to update this. Check username, and down here at the bottom, check username. And then we'll get a response. Actually, I wanted to throw. I'm just setting up my Mac. I formatted yesterday and reinstalled the OS. Oh, okay, is that why you're asking about Firefox? Were you having some issues? All sorted? Isaac, hey! It's a good day if I got the Norwegian and the Sweden in the chat. Who wants some stroopwafel? All we need is the Dane. The Danes will come to colonize you again. Conquer you. Yeah, it is. It's delicious though. So what are our opinions of the Germans as a Swede and a Norwegian? Now, who's the real Nord here? The Swede? The Viking? Or the Norwegian Nord? Yeah, there's a really weird bug with Firefox, or mostly Firefox I should say. It seems to be more of a dark mode bug. Oh, dark mode. Huh. Goes to Google. Dark mode Firefox. How do I not know of this? Oh, is this the extension for it? Or is there an official one? I don't want it on at night time, I just want it always on. I'm a vampire. Oh, dark mode on Mac. Oh, okay. I would use this add-on, but when you're developing things, you want to have as little extensions as possible to easily debug if you're causing the issue or it's an extension. So as much as I would like to use this, gonna have to pass. Darn it. Thought it was like an official thing. Okay. So I said we're gonna throw an error. We'll return if it's available. Otherwise, here, we're gonna throw the error. And we're gonna throw. So we're just gonna throw everything. We're just gonna throw all our toys out the cot. And then obviously whatever is calling that function needs to know to handle the thrown errors, which will be here in the error. And then all we need to do is respond like this. Res.status. Wait, that's for the error one. There you go. Error be happy. Let's take the non-error one. Res.status response.status.json label response.label description response.description. Cool. So we'll get the entire thing back. Check username, auth username. Yeah, we know that works. So we should be good to go. Let's test it out. Send a link. Let's check your link. Oh, is there a thing there? Yeah, that doesn't look like a dead pixel. That's weird. Jeez. Someone put a lot of effort into this. Holy shit. Tiny and weird bug, right? Wonder what Apple will do about it. Just put something over it. Just put like a sticker there or something. How? It's quite loud, isn't it? I need to actually lower the volume of this thing. Holy shit. Settings, sounds. There we go. I'm gonna like halve it. That does not sound fun. No, it's like get back to work. Hey, it could be worse. There could be a freaking ticking sound. Do you want to hear that? And you'll constantly hear that while I'm working. Would you like that? No, I don't think you would. There, I lowered the volume by half. Please no. Should I just have it say Kakarot when it's, you know, time to start? That was a bit better, right? Okay, what were we doing? So I need a response. I need the server to send me a response with a 200. Well, actually no, a 422 if it's invalid. There we go. Label username taken. The given username has already been taken. Sweet. I like that. I like that. What if it's not taken? Username available. The given username is available. Sub or dub? It's a tough one. It depends on how good the dubs are. Funimation dubs are really good, so I would go with the dub if it's Funimation or of like, you know, relative quality. But if it's a bad dub, then obviously go for subs. It's just you need that emphasis on the emotions, because that's what makes anime so, you know, like surreal in those moments. And you know, if there's bad voice acting, it just ruins it. So you need to be able to hear that emotion come through. That's why, I mean, you guys should know the Funimation. If you ever watch Dragon Ball Z, it's crazy. And the Sword Art Online dub, really good. There's been quite a few ones. But yeah, unless it's official, I don't go with dubs. Then I go with subs. For example, what was it now? When I think of the name of that one, that was such a good one. With the killer chickie. That'd be so much better. Yeah, it's nice when you get to focus on what's actually going on. I mean, if I knew Japanese, then hey, that would be even better. That would be the best. But sometimes dub can even be better than the original in very rare cases. Oh, and it was Elfenlied. Elfenlied was really good in dub. Even Akama got killed. And what was the other one? So many now. Full Metal Alchemist. I watched that in dub as well. That was good. I'm just waiting for someone to make the comment of why read when you could just be, you know, focusing and watching them anime titties. That's why people go for dub, right? Most voices don't fit the character though. Yeah, it depends. Like Full Metal Alchemist did it really good. Brotherhood, I felt like they did really good. Elric. Oh. Eric? Okay, so we got a response. We didn't get any errors. Actually, what happened to the... Oh, right, because we're not console logging anymore. I was like, where'd the errors go? They're here now. 422 or 200. I want it to be a bit more uniform though. So let us use the same message that we used for this one. Username taken. The username you have entered is available. You're about to get a fright, like, what happened to my username? Did you guys see there's a new Joker movie that they're busy making? It just felt so weird. Maybe I'm getting older and I'm so used to like the classics Because it's so different. I know it's always been different, especially with like the latest with Jared Leto being completely different to any other Joker ever. But this one is just like on a whole other level. And maybe I'll have to like check it out to see. But it's weird. And not in the Joker kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it. But I think it's also like an origin story from what I could tell, because he wasn't doing anything crazy yet. He was just trying to find himself. So there's no Jokerness there yet. But that's weird. They start something and they don't even finish it. So like, no second Suicide Squad? Or wasn't there like talks of it or something? That's hard to say if it's in a good or bad way, because yeah, you'll just have to see it if you look at the trailer. I don't know if you liked the Batman movies or Joker. Don't really follow that stuff. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool. So we got our error messages. Now we need to just plug that into our back end, well, our front end now. I think we already have it as a constant. Username taken, username invalid. Wait, so username taken, username invalid. We need to name these bases based off of what the server responds to with them. And that's either username available, username taken, and then username validation failure. So username taken, username validation failure. That's what we're going to specify if there was validation failure. Username taken. Then we need username available. The username available. Do we even need that? I think that's why I skipped it. We didn't... Well, actually we did for token verified. The token has been verified. The username is available. I'll just do that then. Because the user's never going to see that. That's going to just be for our local state. Username invalid, that is what the user is going to see. We need to specify that to the user. But there will be invalid. We'll validate that client side. Huh. I'm saving the client time by validating a client side before it goes to the server, but we're actually still going to check server side. So in that case, username invalid, we don't know what that will be because the server needs to tell us the reason. So maybe I'll exclude this. Username taken, that's, you know, obvious. The username you have chosen has already been taken. Please try another. Or should we just keep it short? The username has already been taken. Please try another. I don't think we'll need the validation failure. So we just need these. Invalid, taken, available. Now let's go to the service, verify username, then response. If response.data, return resolve response.data.label. Otherwise, just resolve it. Technically, we should be getting a response.data.label. Anyway, catch error. If error.response, label error.response.data.label, error.response.data.label. Reject with error. Cool. So this is pretty much done. And then back to the action. Verify username. Verify username request. Do we have that? Yeah, we do. And then based on the response from the server, it's going to be based on that status. We don't know what status is until it comes from the server. So dispatch success. Success will have that status, which is the label. So username available. Let me just make sure we have all of them. Username available, so we'll get that. Username taken. We'll get that. What are the possible things that it can return? Username taken, username available. If there's somehow a major error, it will return that, but that'll be like a critical error in the system. And we've already covered that. So yeah, we should be fine. It will just be an unknown error, which is... Wait, failure? Oh, unknown error. An unknown error has occurred. Yeah, perfect. Otherwise, an unknown. Cool. And then we dispatch the request, we verify the username, we dispatch success response, otherwise we dispatch failure error. Cool, so that is done now. Verify username is done. Next we need to move on to the reducer. And we basically need to copy this. I really need to abstract this, because it's getting massive. So let's copy these cases, and we need to change them. Yeah, I know it's duplicate, thanks. Verify username request, stated registration, username, verifying true. User action constant dot verify. We should have a verify username failure. Let me just double check that we do. Yes, we do. Verify. In fact, we don't even need this console log anymore because we know it's working. And let's remove this console log as well. So verify username failure, and this needs to change to username verified false. And then here, verify username success. We can remove that console log. In fact, let's also remove this one while we add it. And then username needs to be verified true, action.status. And that should literally be everything. Cool, we should be good to test. Okay, got a response back, and it was available. If we check our Redux store, we should see username should be verified true. The username is available. Like I was verifying. And then if we enter JMAR 777, which is taken. There we go. Verified false. The username has already been taken. Please try another. Sweet! And then that's obviously when the error state is going to kick in. So we now need to convert that into our sign-up form. I told you guys, the world's greatest sign-up form, right? Wow, so much has gone into this. It's just so big that I'm scared to look at it anymore. There's just so much. The logic has to move. Thankfully, the part that controls setting the toggled state of true or false in the errors is literally just one use effect. So if I just copy this use effect and I paste it below, we should probably specify that this is for watch email state, and this is watch username state. Cool. If registration, then we, hold on. Let's be fancy. Change all instances of, no! It's not what I want you to do. I want you to literally change email to username. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. And then registration dot username. Wait, I'm so confused. Hold on, go back. What did we have before? Why was I doing status from registration.email? But if we already have registration, why don't we just get it from email? Email is registration. So why don't we do email? Yeah, we should be able to. Okay, cool. So we just do username. Username equal to registration. Username is already declared in the upper scope. Oh no! Where did we do that? It's not in that. Was oh, the freaking regex. Anyway, let's change these so long. Error email becomes error username, and same for here. And show verify email. Oh, we're not going to have that anymore because that was for the button. Error username message is based on status. Error username false. Okay, cool. Valid username set to true. And this is based on registration still. Yeah, cool. We got to handle with that scope right now. Now I see why it renamed it to something else. Okay, so the conflict we have is that we have username here, which is the regex. So where are we actually using that? Maybe we can move the logic out already. No, here it is. No, it is here. Username.test. could name it to username regxp. Okay, let's think for a moment. If... what's this? Username. Well, let's check password. How can we have this in another file? Because it obviously has to be in a use effect to watch values.password. So how can we essentially have this all in a separate file that can do all this and return? Because this updates state as well. That's the tricky part. We could obviously have a callback, give it set values. We could essentially give it state. Give it state, give it the function that updates the state, and then it should theoretically have everything. If it has values. Because then that would be so much easier to work with. Let's try it for the password. Now this is the thing, it's in a component. Where would you have the logic then? It wouldn't be in a helper file, would it? Not unless it was the exact same type of sign-up form, so no. It would have to be coupled here. So maybe inside of this auth folder have a validation folder? And then the scripts inside of there? Either validate or validation. I think we could do validate. And then let's do password. I'm going to do validate password.js. Okay, let's try this now. And then we're going to move all of this out of there. Okay, and we're going to shove it in here. What's it going to take? It's going to take the state, and it's going to take, what else was there? Don't know what there is. It's state and, oh, the callback. State and set state. Yeah, let's just call it that. But wait, isn't that reserved? We'll have to find out now. Isn't set state... oh no, it thinks it's the parameter. Hopefully that won't cause an issue. Because then essentially we need to change all these values.password to state.password. And then we change set values to set state. Okay, so let's do that. Change all instances of... why can't I update this? Cannot rename. Ah! There. And then values. I'm not going to be able to change that either, can I? No! What if I change this to values? There. And now we change this to state. Cool, now everything's state. So state set state, and then if state.password not equal to null and password illegal. So these are the two registers that we can now directly import into here. And yeah, it's going to update state because it has the function that updates state. I just can't remember if we need a return. Yeah, I think we do return. So let's just add returns to all of these set states. What are you complaining about? Or maybe we don't. Let me try first without them. Because I haven't actually tried this. I don't even know if this is going to work. And then we just export default validate password. And then we need to import it. And then we need to also import password illegal and password. So we basically take these from here. Password and password illegal. Nothing's going to complain about that because we only used it there. There we go. So we import password, password illegal, so everything should be fine now. And then we just need to import validate password. What are we going to call it? Just validate password from no, sorry, right there. Validate. Come on. Validate password. Cool. Then we just call validate password, we give it state and how to update state. So let's find password now. Was it this one? Yeah, tiny one. Validate password, we need to give it state, which is values, and we need to give it set, is it set values? Yeah, there you go. That should be all it needs. So that should be it. And then we should see these things happening if we set up correctly. Also, I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, we need to, I think it's one deeper. There we go. Cool, now it's good. Now let's see if it actually works. Huh. It seemed to work for everything but the length. But interesting, it was working. Your password needs to be between 8 and 64 characters. Okay. But so far so good. Let's just figure out why this part was triggering. Else if state.password not equal to null and state.password.length less than 8 or wait, imagine it's just because nothing is clearing the error after there's no errors. I think that's what's up. I think it's working, we're just not clearing the errors because we used to have an else before. What did I do for... Oh, this is all so confusing. Was it username? Did I use that new method? Yeah, it was. Okay, so what? There was an else. Okay, so we're gonna use an else. So else if, and then an else. This is where you would basically state error password is set to false, error password message is set to no error. Okay, cool. Wait, where'd my browser go? Come back! Are you serious? Now you choose to update? Now there's an update? Sorry guys. In like a week, there's been no updates because I'm on the LTSP branch. And I'm like constantly dread when there's an update. Because just... There's a version 69. 69! Haha! I wonder how many people actually had a good laugh at that one. I'm impressed I actually went through with that. But yeah, we are on version 69 of Firefox. Okay, almost back. Just have to copy this over. I just want a version that just lets me do my thing for a month at a time. I don't mind updating once a month. That's what happens when you're part of a beta and everything, huh? We need the latest bleeding edge tech. Alright, this should bring us back. There we go, we're back. And now we can test. This should have solved the problem. Yay! How exciting is that, guys? We managed to move all that hideous logic into a hidden file. It's like a shunned house elf. It doesn't belong. So we told it, go be in your own like file somewhere. Shame. Should I feel mean? Should I feel bad? I mean, do we regret it? Look at this. Look how long our use effect was before. Now it's literally literally a single line if we obviously remove this. It's a single line. Validate password, give it the state, give it the function that updates the state. And that's that. Ah, it's so beautiful. It's going to be much easier to work in this form. I mean, that's the point. This form, I swear, this form is bigger than my entire app. I'm not even joking. Like, this form has more lines of code. Or just more logic than my entire app. But then again, signups aren't just like some simple thing. I think people are so used to just using plugins or something, just like download it, install it, done. I mean, I myself never knew how much actually went into these things. It's insane, the amount of logic, the amount of validation, the verification. Wow. Okay, cool. That's done. Now that it works, we can do the same for username. What's this, username? Yeah, this is username. So now that we know it's working, can't exactly remember why we did it this way. And also I'm considering if I should just have a single validation file now. Because we have validate password. Yeah, actually it might be easier to work in separate files. Okay, so let's move all of this. Right, what was validate input? We already had a function here. If not test and new state.username. That's what we did last night. I don't know if any of this is still relevant. I guess we'll find out. So we can still keep that. Oh, we needed to know, we needed to validate on what the future version would be. So instead of set values, we're going to have our function. Okay, so we need a validate username essentially. So all of this needs to move. Into a validate username.js file. Wait, this doesn't use password, does it? This uses username. Import username from regex username? Yeah, there we go. And then wherever we use values.username, we need to change this state to values. And then we update this to state. Oh, I see what we're doing. We were passing in new values to validate input. I could give it an optional callback function to run. The new values needs to be new state. Huh, because this one's different. We're not gonna... So we're supposed to do all of that, then we're supposed to validate the input with the new state, and then we need to set state with the new values. Yeah, so we can actually do that. If we take a third optional function in. We can just do a callback. How do we make it optional? Will we just callback equal to null? Is that how? I wonder how we would do an optional callback. Can't remember, because you would set it to a value. I guess null should be fine. And then based on the logic we have here, we're doing validate input. So then if callback, so if there was a function that was passed in, oops, then we call the callback with new state, like so. And then we set the values with new state. So after that, then we set state, new state. And then it should look pretty much identical. Yeah, that should be it. Let's create an index here since there's going to be 3 of them. Validate password equal to does it require? I can't even remember right now. Let me just double check. Oh, it's import, right. And then export. Oh, so just import export, okay. So import validate password from. Okay, and then we do the same for validate username. There we go. And then we just export validate password, validate username, like so. Okay, cool. And then here we have it simple, because then we can just do import validate password and validate username from validate. There we go, perfect. And then validate username needs to come into the username section, which was this one. And then we're going to comment all of this out, just in case something goes wrong. And apparently, if we've done this correctly, all we need to do is give it values, set values, as well as validate input as the callback. And then it should do everything like before. See if that works. So username, let's first see if it's going to make a callback to the server. Okay, so it doesn't. Now it does, and it gets a response. Username is available. Cool, so it's working like it used to. Must be between 2 and 32. I'm gonna go above the limit real quick. There we go. Yeah, that's about it. It's working. Sweet. And I assume that it saved the state. Verified true. Okay, and then obviously this needs to change now. It can't display this tick. It needs to remove it. And I think the tick is based on, let me just double check. It's based on valid username. Now valid username gets set by this thing here. And that's obviously not what we want. Let's go back to the sign up form. I think we created 3 new booleans yesterday. Or was I in the process of doing that? I can't remember. What sets valid email? Let's see. If verif. Oh, right. This. Watch email states. We need a watch username state. Okay, so basically we don't set valid username here at all. If state.username not equal to null and username.test, as in if the username matches, then we can remove the error username. There might be a conflict here, but let's just test to see. So username, oh, we can remove username finally. That was the whole point of why we did this. Sweet, because now we can actually use username. So registration username is registration. If username status verified, verifying. If not verifying and not verified, set error username to true, error username message to status. If verifying, set error username to false and error username message to none. And then if verified, set valid username to true. Okay, cool. So if it's valid, now it will appear in the form. Okay, cool. And what if it's JMR 777, which is not valid? Okay, we still need a way for that to be removed. So I think what we should do is, if verifying, that is where we should also remove it. We should set it to false. If verifying, and I think there's one more place that might have a glitch. If it was previously valid, but then we made it invalid. Yeah. Oh wait, it wasn't that. It was if it's valid, but already taken by the server. That should be it, I think. I don't think we ever need to set it if it's not verified and not verifying. Because if it's verifying, we remove the valid state. And the valid state is anyway off by default. So if it's verifying and it was previously verified, we wipe it. If it is verified, then we set the username to true. So it will only be true if it was ever verified. So that's valid. How did that happen? See that bug. I don't know how I triggered it, but I did trigger it. And that's not okay. So I think the only foolproof way of this is if not verified and not, if not verifying and not verified, set valid username to false. I have to go. Coolin, thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it, as always. There we go. Cool. So that fixes that now. And let's trick it by quickly, like, removing that. Cool. That's so cool. Is there a success message or something for our form? Because we have a helper text. No, the helper text is only valid if values.error username is on. Let's check the text field API quick. I think we should style it. Because it accepts classes. Yeah, so let's give it classes. Where's the other one? Last one. Okay, so when it is valid, but will the error state override the class that we give it? That's the question. Let's find out. Classes. Let's just do classes.success, even though that doesn't exist yet, we'll create it. Or maybe it does exist. Oh no, it does. Okay, let's see what happens if it's successful. Oh, because we don't display a message, that's why. We need to change that logic. Oh damn, the helper text is based on error username message. But it's not necessarily an error. Also, let's see if it clashes, if there is an error. Let me change this. How is that in an error state? I changed it. Error. Value set error username 1. Okay, let's try that. Just want to see what it would look like. Huh. So there's the text, it's just not green. Should have given it background color, which it didn't. Let's try giving it color, green of 600. See what happens. Nah, it didn't. Okay, that's fine. I think the whole point for me was you get a tick if it's valid. That should be decent enough, I guess. A little tick. And then the email. And then finally the password. Did we do the password on? Validate password. Yeah, we did. And what was that based on? That was simply... How did we set it that it's valid? Where did we do that? Was that somewhere else? Let's check. This is for watch email state, so it's not there. That's username state, so it's not there. Password is literally just validate password, but then where are we setting? Don't need these things. Oh, this is handle verification. How are we calling handle verification? That's cool. What calls handle verification? Wait, I'm so confused. Does anything actually call it? Oh, isn't... No, it's not. Because that's... What? Handle change. Oh, there it is. Okay, so on click. Okay, so that's on the on. Oh, obviously that's for the verify email button, right? So let's rather change that so it's not confusing like it was now to handle email verification. And then handle submit is where you finally take everything and you register with the username, email, and password. So that sets valid username. But what sets valid password? Do we even have a valid password? We do. Okay, let's just see what sets it then. Oh, it's not in here. Obviously, it will be in validate password. So, where is valid password being called? It has to be in here. What the hell? There's... What? Oh, okay, I get it, I get it. Because we're changing so many things. This is not based on valid password, is it? It's based on something else, based on no errors. Here. Password. It is based on values.password is not null and there's no error. Okay, that's why. This needs to change to values.valid password. Which now will never happen because nothing's actually setting a valid password. So now we can get it perfect and we're never gonna get it. Great, that's what I was expecting. And then how do we know when a password is valid? If state.password is not null, so the given password is not null, and password illegal if it contains illegal characters, then we get that called out. Okay. Otherwise, if it doesn't match the regex that we have, we show that. Otherwise, if it's not null, but the lengths are less than 8 or greater than 64, we show that. So we need this one essentially. Obviously just change it around. I'll save state dot, wait, this is password, not equal to null, and password dot test state dot password. This is where we had new state. This is where error password has to go, and error password message. And we would also set valid password to true, so that that thing would appear. Sorry. Jeez, that was bad. Oh god. I'm still recovering from the cold. Okay. Whew, okay, I feel a bit better. So state.password not equal to null, and password.test state.password. New state is set to the previous state, error password is set false, error password message is empty, and valid password is set to true. Now instead of new state, we could just do set state. Which will look something like this. That should essentially be all we need. There you go. Cool, and that works for that validation as well. Cool. Oh, and when there's an error, we have to obviously wipe it. Forgot about that. Maybe we should set valid password to false when we get into here. Because So otherwise we have to change it for each one. Okay, that should be it. So special character? Oh, was I setting them all to true? Oh my god. Valid... No! Valid password set to false. So when there's an error, password can only contain alphanumeric or special characters. I set valid password to false. Oh. That's why. Because we had... It would have to be state.valid password basically for all of these now. Unless I created an object. Wait, would it be? No, it wouldn't. What am I saying? No, valid password. And it is based on valid password, yeah. So then why is that an issue? Okay, there it worked. Oh, maybe it didn't update. Weird. Okay, cool. One capital, numerical, and special. Now it needs to be between 8 and 64. There you go. Make it less, goes away. Cool, what else was there? There was something else. What was the length? We already tested. It was the special characters, and it was... Yeah, we tested all three. Okay, it's working. Should probably have these in constants, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's do that. In system or user? Server response, storage. I think it'll be user. I think it would be something like registration. What are the three things? Password can only contain alphanumeric or special characters. Invalid password. So then to access it would be something like registration dot invalid password. And then the next one would be requirements. Invalid password requirements. Because that one's a requirement of all the things that it needs to have. And then length, I guess. Invalid password length. Okay, so those are the three messages. Now can we name these better? Seems to be fine. Now if I name these all under password, we'd at least know where to find them. Because what if we had password success or password invalid? Yeah. So let's do password underscore invalid instead. So we just put the invalid at the end. So password invalid, password requirements invalid. Password length invalid. Yeah, okay, fine. Screw it. Let's go with it. Um, and then we just import it as user. Star as user from, I think this is how we did it. Oops, no, come on. And then instead of your password can only contain alphanumerical, you just do user dot registration dot password invalid. And then for this one, it was user dot registration dot password requirements invalid. And then this one was for the length. So user dot, yeah, this is so much better that we're doing it this way. Perfect. And then for the username, we can do the same, I guess. There's only 2 of them. So that would be username. This is length. The first one's length, I think. Length, and then username invalid and username length invalid. Which was this one. And then username length invalid. Then I have it all in one place and I don't have to go and hunt down all these files. Done. So this should still work the same. Yeah, perfect. And if there's an error here, that should have also wiped that, by the way, so I think that's something we have to manually do. Set valid username to false if there are any errors. There we go. That should solve that. Cool. And the password is perfect. So all we need now is to set this form. I don't think there's anything else really. I think that's it. Choose a valid username like that. The only problem is that shrinking. That concerns me a bit. Maybe we can avoid that. Because every time it like pops up and pops out can be a bit annoying. So let's see where we have that on the sign up form. It is this one. And obviously the size is based on that icon. And it only renders if values.valid username is true. But we want it to still take up that space. Maybe that's something we should focus on another time. Because nothing is coming to mind right now, like a quick simple fix. I still want to show that error block when there is an error. I forgot about that. Like a loading icon. If we can have a loading icon. Yeah, let's go have a look quickly. There was icons, the icon API. No, it wasn't the icon API, it was it icons or material icons? I can't remember. I think it was the first one. Is there a loading one? And what about an error? Because what did we use for success? A check mark. Yeah, so we have the circle one, we have that one. So if I want an error, it would have to be this one. Okay, let's see if we can make this work. Oh, we do have error icon. Never mind. We have error icon already, so let us create an error icon. So for username, let's do the success one first and then the error one. Error icon, was it? Was it error? Let's see what colors there were, because I can't remember what they called them. There's primary, they had accent, but there had to be an error one. Wasn't there an error? Okay, let's go figure out what the it wasn't material UI, it was yeah, material IO. There's a specific error that you're supposed to use. Pretty sure there was a thing here that specified the defaults. Right, alert colors. So we just should have error. But let's see what happens if we set it to error. Maybe that exists already. And then not. Let's see what happens if we do that. Error icon is not exported from mature UI icons. Okay, that's good to know. So let us import it not from there. There we go. Oh, there is an error. I didn't know there was an error. Ah, learned something new today. And if I don't include color error, does that mean it'll be different? Ah, yes, that worked. I need a loading thing though. What was it? It was a... Yeah, it was progress. Yeah, I want this one. So I just need circular progress, really. I need margin theme.spacing 2. Do I have that already? Who uses margin though? Is it the entire form or just the icons? Everything uses it. Okay, let's set margin to 2 first. I just want to see how bad that's gonna look. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. A little bit too much. Yeah, let's leave it at 1. Not a problem. We'll take the progress. We need import circular progress. Can I not just get circular progress? Like this. And we get rid of that altogether. Yeah, I think so. And then we should be able to do this. So the default one needs to be values dot valid. No, it needs to be values dot then we can have circular progress. As long as there's a username in there, and there's no error. Well, actually, let's see what happens now. Because this might just mess up. But I think we need to set it as long as there's no error. Oh yeah, otherwise you do that. So values.username and not values.valid. What's this, username? Yeah. And not values.error username. Okay, that should be it. Huh. But we still see that. I don't know if it's just because it takes too long. Let's not send a response back from our server for the verify username. Okay, so this is what it will look like. Isn't something supposed to be hidden? So while you're verifying for the username, hold up, while you're verifying for the username, if verifying, error username is false, error username message is false. Are we not verifying right now? What are we doing? Verifying is true. So if verifying true, error username should be false, and valid username should be false. Valid username should be false. If that is true, then how is this thing displaying? The error one. If not valid username, oh, because it's still busy verifying. Oh, that's going to be a tricky one, because it's doing what it should do, and valid username is set to false. And this will only display when valid username is false, and there is something in here. Or we could have it as an OR. Wouldn't an OR work? Can I do an OR there? And stick a circular progress in there? Will that work, I wonder? Let's try and see what happens. Because then I can OR it. If it's not in the verification state, yeah, it will be spinning. Oh, we didn't get a valid response from the server, that's why. Let's fix it again. There you go. Okay. So the only problem is it will start off like that, I think. But we can fix this. So value stored, valid username, and so as long as there's a valid username, show the check mark. Else, there needs to be a values.username, as in there needs to be a username. And stick that over there. Would that work? So now it won't spin constantly when we get in. But it will spin we also have to do the same for the error. So it's either that or the circular thing. Which is based purely on let's try that. Wait, what's the error based on? If not, values.valid username. Maybe we should put the progress first, else the error. Swap them around. Or have it all in like one big check. So if there's a valid username, check mark. If there's an error, I don't think that'd make a difference. And that's the annoying part. It's like, just hide it temporarily. Because I feel the progress bar is gonna like add so much for us. So have this one be the error icon, like we said. Okay, and that should be it. There's double now? The fuck? How did we get that right? How did we get double? How did we get double? You're using OR? Yeah, but why would I get double of them? It should only ever be one of them, right? That's the rounded icon, that's the error icon, and that's the loading icon. Why would I get two errors? This thing should only ever render one of the icons. Yeah, but there's only ever one check for an error with the error icons. How do we get two errors in? That's the part that's confusing me. You get two errors? No, I can only have one error at a time. So how am I getting these two icons? I get one check mark, but I could get two error icons. The fuck? It's weird. I don't think it's gonna solve our problem anyway. So let me go back to where we just had the two. And we've got to figure out how we're gonna do the circular one. So if there's a valid username, we show the tick icon. If it's not a valid username and values.username, so we basically need a loading one essentially. That's what we need. We need one more boolean to run off of. That would prevent the error one from showing. Valid username, valid password, valid email. We would need something like a check username. So something like this. Check username. False. By default it's false, right? And then essentially what we do is, in the use effect that's watching the email one, the username one, if verifying, we set check username to true. And so long as check username is true, we display the runny run one. and the error won't display. I think that's going to be the easiest solution for us. So if not values.valid username and there is a value, or maybe the first check should be not values.check username. Then we'll show an error, and then for the actual progress it will be values.username. No, it will be values.check username and values.username. So that's the only time we show the progress. That should, in theory, be it. Okay, then hide it. Because we forgot to set it to false again. After it's done checking. That should be it. Yeah. Cool. But obviously it happened so fast. We could simulate a slower connection, I guess. Under the network tab, I think it was. Was it the network tab? Throttling. Let's go to good old GPRS. Do you guys remember the GPRS days? Ah, look at that. It's beautiful. It's a bit big though. I wonder how we can change it. Customized. I want a smaller one. How did they make theirs smaller? Did they literally just make the height? Which is the one that we like, first of all? Let's find it. It's the last one. The last one is smaller. They clearly did something to the last one. Is that the Facebook progress? Oh, okay. So let's see what they did to Facebook progress. Use styles Facebook. What is use styles Facebook? They didn't make it smaller. I swear it looks smaller. Oh, here you go, size. Wait, I'm being so dumb. Circular progress must have an API. Yes, there will definitely be sizing on there. They wouldn't make it that hard. Okay, cool. Default is 40. Now let's go find the icon size, what the default icon is. Default's to 24, great. So all we need to do is set size to 24. And it should be the same size as our icons. Where's spinny? Check circle, class, color, size, equal to... What did it want? A string? Number or string? Okay. 24. Okay, so for us... Oh my god, fine. Whatever. Not gonna even complain. So now it should be the same size as our... Oh, I forgot we're still on GPRS. I'm so glad we're not back in this day. Okay, I'm actually going to turn this off because that's annoying. Go, load. Sign up. Okay, now let's put GPRS back on. How is that 24? That's not 24. Oh. Would help if I looked what I was applying it to. There we go. Let's try that again with GPRS being disabled. GPRS. It's a bit off. Oh, right. We need margin applied to it as well, don't we? Wait, we have progress? We have progress? We don't have progress. I didn't add a class, did I? That's why we need the margin. But wait, what did their progress have? Go back. We used this one. Classes, progress had theme spacing of 2. Oh, okay, so yeah, okay, simple. We just change it to our one, which is a theme spacing of 1. So essentially just do this and it's done. Okay, work nice now, please. Yay! Look at that! It's working! Looks a bit blurry though, huh? Is it not meant to be that small? Why does it look so bad? Or is it because we're on GPRS mode? It looks blurry. Why? Why does it look blurry? Why does it look so bad? What did they do? The larger version looks okay, but the small one is just... the icon. I'll show you now. You probably can't see it, so I'm gonna zoom in. I'll zoom in for you nice and big, like super big, in your face. Now watch there, okay? Oh, am I just losing my shit? Okay, maybe I am. It looked blurry. Zooming in looks a bit better now, but I swear it looked blurry from like... Can I make this even slower? Did it not look blurry? No? Just me? Do you see that? Like, I don't know what you're watching on, but from me, at this distance, it looks blurry. Screw it. I'm gonna disable this root quickly so we can see constant spinny action. Do you not see that? It looks like pixelated and blurry. Looks fine, really? Go closer to your monitor! I'm like, got my nose in it. Well, what are you watching on? Yeah, but what's weird is then when I zoom in, then suddenly it looks fine. Maybe I'm worrying for nothing. My eyes are pretty bad. Because I want that thing to be the same size as the icon, you know what I mean? Would you make these bigger, by the way? This is 100% view. Would you make the check marks bigger? Or do you think they're fine as is? I think the default is like 24 pixels. That should be fine. And either way, I'm probably worrying about that circle, which no one's ever going to see, like on a proper fiber connection, which most people have. I mean, here in Africa, I have fiber. Then no one should see it. They should just be like, shh, boom. You know, like, Wait, why does it take you so long now? Ah? Oh, we're still on GPRS. Never mind. Take GPRS off. Boom. Boom. You like won't even see the... you like begin to see it. Maybe I should have it like play at least one animation before it shows that icon. They're fine. It would look weird if they were bigger. Could be nice though if you place them inside the input, like the eye icon in the input. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But then I felt like it wouldn't, because it's a label. So I thought if you have the label there, maybe you're right. But then where would it go with the password? Cause check the password one. You have the show password button there. Where would you stick the valid one? Next to it? And I also don't think you can have two icons. And even if I could, don't you think it would be weird having two icons in there? I think that's probably why I initially put them outside. Yeah. But at least we have a loading spinner now. So it's a bit more dynamic. And at least after a while, if it errors out, it will turn into the red. We could actually test it with the email verification. I think that would be the most beautiful use of this. Because that is something that will take a while. And then at least the user knows, hey, we're waiting. Okay, so circular progress is this one. So let's stick it into, what's this, email. So values.check username. No, so it's values.check email. Values.email. Then we could show that. So when do we update that? We could do it in handle email verification. So when you click verify email, then we set set values values check email to true. Yeah. And then wait for the response from the server. Watch email. And if not verifying and not verified, check email is false. No. The window crashed. Oh yay. Memory leak. This is what happens when you're constantly developing live. Have to leave again? Need to finish some homework? What homework are you doing? For the uni stuff, I guess? Wasn't it 3,000? Oh, it crashed, didn't it? Ah, npm start. We're busy with this. Check email false. If verifying. Oh, we can actually do it here. Check email true. If verified, check email false. And then we need a check email in here. English. Oh, okay. If you need any help with that, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, good luck with that. So let's make this token timeout be something like 5 seconds. And then we do this. And then it should, cool. Cool, that worked. We also need an error thing. But that worked nicely. We need one of these. Values dot check email and not values dot valid email. Values dot email should be that, I think. Values dot check, values dot valid, values dot email. Good luck. See ya. Thanks, Lynn. I really appreciate it. We solved it, by the way. Don't know if you saw that now. So we're good. Wait, why does it go straight to red? If not values dot check email. If not values dot valid email. No, it can't. It's not supposed to be red yet. It's supposed to just be if not values dot valid email. Looks good. Yeah. I just got to figure out now how I handle this, because we only want an error to show if it comes back. With valid email being false, but the problem is valid email starts as false. You know what I mean? Unless we just don't have an error for email. Like, maybe it's not necessary? I don't know, what do you think? So you put your email in, you verify, there's a little spinner that shows it's waiting. After the time's over, the spinner will go away, and it'll say the token was not verified in time, please try again. I don't know if we need a error there. What do you think? Let's see what values we have in state that we might be able to use. Verified is set to false. Actually, and when we start, verified is not there, is it? No, verified is only set to false when it fails. So can we somehow hook it to that? Where's verified? It's registration. Registration.email.verified. Can I do it on something else, I wonder? We haven't tried, let's try. This is for the... Wait, where's the error? If registration dot email dot verified, if not. Can I do that? I don't know if that's gonna like error us out now like last time. Yeah, there's the error. Registration's undefined. Oh, since it's conditional based, we could just do if. So this is like an if statement. So registration and email won't exist either. There, if registration and registration.email and registration.email.verified. Not. It's a bit complex, but... What? Oh, because it existed, but... So essentially we need to set it to... not registration.email.verifying. Jeez. That should be it. But that's a lot of logic now. There you go. The token was not verified in time, please try again. Wait, did they both show at the same time? We also have to check that it's not checking, basically. Not values.check email. Because then it doesn't have to do continuous checks, it's gonna wait for it to not be checking. So now it's not even checking until that's gone. Yeah, better. Cool, and then for the password, we just do the same as the first one. We don't check password, so we don't need to check for that one. Values.valid password and values.password. I think that's what we need to check on. That should give us a icon for our password. Let's check them all. There we get an error. Let that run so long, and... But how did that change to What? Okay, we're gonna have to check the logic out. And there's an error. Cool. Okay, that was weird. The moment we had an error here, and then we click verify. Clicking verify wiped all the freaking errors. What? Okay, that's good to know. On click, handle email verification. Verify. Oh, I was wiping everything. That's bad. Okay, final test. Invalid. This should expire. This should be. What? Did it happen again? Oh, it did. Is this... What is happening every time I do that? Is it a wiping state? Also, why is our verify email button not disappearing anymore? It used to disappear when we... What the hell did we break? If values.email and values.show verify email, then show the verify email thing. So it's based on show verify email. Handle email verification runs verify email. And let's see what changes show verify email. So by default it's set to true. If not verifying and not verified, it sets it to true. If verifying, it sets it to false. If verified, What is this one for? Email. Validate password. Okay, I don't know why that's there. Let's try that again. This should disappear. What the hell? Verifying is true. Why are we still seeing that button? It's not hiding it. Watch email. Email from registration. If email. Get it from email. If not verifying and not verified. Okay. If verifying. If verifying. Show verify email. Set it to false. Maybe there's a race condition here or something else happening first. Let's check that out. Okay, there we go. There must have been a race condition then. Okay, all I want to know is why does that suddenly become... It's still in an error state, its icon changed. Let's figure out why that happened. Username, the only time that we're gonna see that is... Maybe we should have a and not values. Wait, no, wait. The only time it's supposed to show is if there's a valid username. What? Where's state? Where's values? Nothing. Where's this entire form? It's in the sign-up form. Contacts? Store? Is it the store maybe? Subscription? Store? No? It's not contacts. It's not memo. Oh. Okay, these are the props. Okay, that makes sense. These are the hooks. There we go. Okay, great. Finally. So error username is true. Okay. So let's see what happens when I click this now. And I go verify. It freaking said valid username, that's why. That's the only thing that happened, it said valid user. Okay, we have a glitch somewhere. So someone said valid username. This is gonna be a fun one. Let's find valid username. Every occurrence of valid username. Okay, so the first one's a definition. Second one is what username. Okay, that's for... Guess it shouldn't be that. The only place that does it is this. And actually, there's valid username. Because see, here's what's happening. Valid username is currently wait, let's invalidate it. So you see it goes invalid. Then we go verify. And the moment we click that, it sets username to valid. Now, that makes literally no sense. So let's go into the validate username and see if there's some weird stuff going on in here. Nothing is setting valid username here. So it can't be that. The only place that sets valid username is this. So let me change this to false. And let's see if it solves this issue. And if not, then I'm gonna just, wow, I'm gonna be so surprised. Okay. So it's invalid right now. We're gonna click verify. Ah, so it is that. Okay. So now we know what the issue is. This. If registration, get username from registration. You know what the issue could be? It could also be our Redux store is messed up. Could be our Redux store. Username verified true. That's why. If we make a change, it's the callback that does all this, if I remember correctly. Validate input. But how can I update the state, the Redux store, without an action? Now we know what's happening. Registration changed. It checked that it was verified. We could do if verified and not values dot error username. That would essentially work because there's still an error that didn't get wiped, regardless of if the verified state is true. Because that's what keeps re-triggering it. So now there's the invalid state. Even though it is verified, the previous state was verified. If you go to username, you'll see verified is true. Now it doesn't kick it back because it notices the form still has an error. There we go, and then finally this. There we go, full error form. Yeah, that works. I'm not too happy about... We didn't want to send a request to the server if it's an invalid, request. We try to save the server from that and do it locally. But the downside to that now is we don't know if the username is valid. Or verified in this case. How do we check the username anyway on the server? Because otherwise maybe I should just undo that and not even worry about that. So there's verify username. Which is just... Oh, because we don't do checks on it. Because if we did, that's going to be afterwards. When we register, we do all the checks. Instead of verified for username, it's just valid. We want to just know if the username is... or no, available, true or false. Because there's not going to be any feedback from that. The servers, because we don't have one for a password, obviously. It's just the email, verified, true or false, and then username, available, true or false, yeah. But the problem still stands, that all it looks for is if that username is in the database. So we'd have to essentially apply a regex first. And if the input, yeah. We could just do user verify username clear. We could have a clear command. I think that will be the easiest option of all the options that we have. Because we have that for clear. If we go to alert, we have clear. Yeah. Which is very simple, it just has a type. Let's verify username, what do we call it? Verify email, verify username. Clear username? And then we'll just dispatch. We could just call it verify username clear. User verify username clear. And then it should be verify username clear. And then dispatch clear. Well, could we turn it into a multiple, like verify clear? And then you need to pass in the specific type. We could dispatch type, because then you should give it, well, at least clear equal to type user actual constant dot verify username clear, and then dispatch clear. Then you could verify clear the type. Like so. And then in sign up, we need to verify clear user actions dot verify clear, like so. And then we need to add verify clear to this massive list. And if there was an error, we would need a second callback. What happens if you do null? If you pass something to null, like 5, like that. Null is not a function. Oh, okay, so it will error out. gets more and more complicated. So if ever there was an error, we could just do something like this. If state dot if there's an error, if there's ever an error and there is a clear function, then just call clear with the constant. We would need to know what the constant is. I guess we need that. Clear type. Or do we just call it type? Like that. Then we need to also pass it in from the user action constant. There we go. Values, set values, validate input, verify clear, user action constant, verify username clear. That should essentially be it. And then in the system reducer, if we get a clear one, then set username to nothing, empty. Okay, let's see what that does. Huh, it didn't wipe it. Didn't we tell it to wipe it? When was it supposed to wipe it? On validate username. Which happens when values.username changes, which it did. It wiped it now, which is strange. So there's a success. But then why is there nothing there? It only does it every second time. So there it runs. There's an error. I mean, here's an error. And then it does nothing on that error. Let's see when it actually triggers. It got there. And then it didn't get there again. Until now, which is weird. It's almost like yesterday's issue again. Huh. Wait, I wonder if we can't do it in validate input. Because I do run validate input, don't I? I do afterwards. So maybe we should do it then. If not, new state.error username and new state.username. If there's no error, then we can verify. So I think we should do it in here. If new state.error username. So if there's an error, then we need to call verify clear. With those two things. So verify clear. And then we don't need to do it inside of username, which was anyway becoming such a mission. And then we don't need these. Cool. See if that will work now. Check our state. Okay, now it's cleared apparently. Is that true? Yes, it has. And now it's a success. Cool. But there's a username there, and if I make an error, it cleared it. Sweet, that actually worked. Cool. Now the big test was we need to still show what the previous error was. Okay, I see what the problem is. We're wiping username. We should have set verified to false. And actually not verified, but what did we say it was? Available. Available set to false. So it's going to be available now instead of verifying. And then in our sign up, we have to make that change for username because it's different. We're getting status, available, and verifying from username. And wherever we change verified will become available now. If available, valid username, true. If verifying, if not verifying and not available, valid username, false. Okay. I think we did something for usernames here. Check username and values.username. Okay. So let's check this now. The username is set to available false. Available true. The username is available. Perfect. But if there's an error, we're set available to false. We need to preserve everything else. Otherwise we remove the error as well. It's not really clear that we want. State.registration.username and then set available to false. That's essentially what clear was supposed to be. Username should have been state.registration.username, no? Why is it erroring out? On line 83 in the reducer. State.registration is undefined. Oh, because it didn't exist before, right? I think it's trying to set it immediately. So what is trying to call it immediately? it's the handle, it's this. Validate input is being called. But who's calling validate input? Validate username. Man, this just keeps getting trickier and trickier. So I can set available to false, not a problem. So it starts off, but that's the other issue now. So it will start off with available false, which we don't essentially want. So the moment we click on sign up, oh, it actually didn't. There's nothing there. Available is set to false. Available is true. But the moment we set it to something else, available becomes false. And then if you try to verify, it becomes true. Oh, it's the error messages that we don't want to lose. Oh, because we constantly lose the error message. Can I do this, I wonder? State, registration, username, dot status. Let's see if that is allowed. No, the moment we enter anything, state that registration is undefined. What if we did username state.registration.username? I don't remember if we actually did this yet. So nothing should change. Ah, now username's empty. Username used to have something, now it's empty. How did we do it for the previous one? Okay, let me try that. Gotta try something. Okay, and then if it gets wiped. Okay, that seemed to work. So that copied it exactly. But the issue that we have is we need the username one, which should be state that registration. That username, it should have been. Keys is state that secure storage. That keys. State that registration. That username. This literally should have copied it one by one. But we get this error. State that registration is undefined. How? How when it does exist? Am I typing it wrong? Am I just too tired right now? Return the entire state. Return registration. With state.registration inside of it. And then inside of that, because we're in registration, inside of that you have username, which is state.registration.username. And I can do this, but it just errors out. I can't figure out why. Doesn't even get the other actions. I think it's because registration didn't even exist yet, and there was an error. Maybe? If state.registration.username, maybe we should do that. Now I feel this is getting so hacky. But now it will wait for it to exist. Okay, apparently that didn't work. State.registration does not even exist. Oh, okay. There. The username is available. Oh no. This is not working for us at all. I think I'm just gonna have to scrap this idea. Let's just add it as a to-do and come back to it. Stream working, hey. I'm going good, how are you? I'm actually just about to finish off for the night. Still got one little issue, but I think I'd rather tackle it some other time. Cool, yeah. So we'll leave this for the next time. A lot's done at least. At least we have the spinning verifications now as well. Before I forget, we should probably set our server token authentication back to the default time. Yeah, cool. So that's working. So I'm gonna end things off here for now. I've got so many things I need to get sorted tomorrow. But I'll catch you guys then, and hopefully I can solve this one. So I feel if I just get some sleep, it'll probably just be something really ridiculous. Because it's not really an issue, other than the fact of if there's an error, it will still show the username as available when it shouldn't be. And I mean, internally, it doesn't do anything, but if I ever had to rely on that, it would obviously be an issue. So I'd like to resolve that, and then it's done. But otherwise, everything else is working. And we can get a proper full error state, which is great. The last thing that I think I'm going to do before I forget is the submit button. Should only activate when values.valid username, values.valid email, and values.valid password are true. And then yeah, that's me for now. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now.